This happened during a frustrating first half in Super Bowl 58 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce aggressively approaching, bumping into Coach Andy Reid, almost knocking him onto the ground. Kelce would later calm down, and he would have a much more effective second half than he had in the first half with only one catch for 1 yard. Here he is with his big brother Jason from the New Heights podcast discussing that moment that resonated from Super Bowl 58.
You crossed the line. I think we can both agree on that.
I can't get that fired up to the point where I'm bumping Coach and it's getting him off balance and stuff. When he stumbled, I was just like, oh, in my head.
Or even, let's be honest. The yelling in his face too is over the top. I think there's better ways to handle this retrospectively.
Yeah, I know. I'm a passionate guy. I love Coach Reid. Coach Reid knows how much I love to play for him, how much I love to be, a product of his coaching career. I'm not playing for anybody else but Big Red. If he calls it quits this year, I'm out there with him, man.
He ain't calling it quits. Come on now.
He's not. It's definitely unacceptable, and I immediately wish I would have took it back. Coach Reid actually came right up to me after that and didn't even have harsh words for me. I was ready to get a ass chewing and for him to just tell me to be better. And he just let him know, hey, man, I love your passion. I got cameras on me all over the place, man. This is that. Yeah. You don't want things to come off.
Not to be like that. Yes, yeah, for sure.
And man, it just fired me up even more to go out there and get a victory for him, man. Because that's how much I love that dude.
Look, Travis Kelce said what he needed to say. What he did do was unacceptable. It did cross the line. And we can't give him a pass because he's a cool guy and he was on SNL and he's dating Taylor Swift and he's going to be in movies. And everybody seems to like him except the people who hate him. But, and I'm not saying I do, I'm just saying, Mr. Pfizer and all that derision out there that has been directed at him by others who are in the NFL. But I digress. The point is, we can't give one guy a pass. You can't have two sets of rules. And no one else on that team would have gotten away with doing what Travis Kelce did. But the way Andy Reid handled it was brilliant. What are you going to do? You're going to bench him for the rest of the game because he bumped you in a moment of intense emotion? And you're going to blow your shot at winning the Super Bowl because you got to teach him a lesson? Like Bill Belichick, for whatever reason, had to teach Malcolm Butler a lesson for Super Bowl 52 and squandered a Super Bowl win, potentially, by not having him on the field during the game. There's a point where you got to swallow your pride, you got to ignore your rules, and you got to do what's right for the team, and you'll deal with whatever it was that crossed the line later. That's one of the reasons why they got the Super Bowl win. That's one of the reasons, because Andy Reid didn't freak out and overreact when Travis Kelce crossed the line.
You say we can't give him a pass, and I don't necessarily want to give him a pass, but Andy Reid gave him the pass, right? This is what happened when he was questioned about that incident after the Super Bowl. He basically said, hey, I love Travis's passion. The only thing that made it look bad was he just caught me off balance, right? And Andy Reid will give it back to Travis Kelce, which is what Travis Kelce was alluding to there when he says, I was expecting to get an ass chewing and then he didn't. But I think that is part of the brilliance of Andy Reid, is that he turned that around and he used it in a way that would fuel Travis Kelce even more. He knows the right buttons to push with which guys. But the other part of this, Mike, is that production equals tolerance, right? You have one of your best players on the team that is fired up, right? And that is trying to be as best as he can for the team. And that's the passion that he brings and . But, you can't do those things. But at the same time, what are you going to do? You're going to say, oh, yeah, Patrick Mahomes' most reliable weapon. We're going to teach him a lesson. Like, the hell are you going to do that for? No, you're not going to do that. And that's, where if it were Kadarius Toney, which not that he was playing, but right? Like, if Kadarius Toney gets fired up like that back when he was playing, then like Kadarius Toney's ass would have been on the bench. Travis Kelce, it's a little bit different. And obviously, whatever happened there, it worked because the rest of the game, 8 catches, 92 yards in the second half and overtime. Like, that is the kind of production you expect from a Travis Kelce. And he did it.
First of all, if Kadarius Toney had bumped into Andy Reid like that, Toney would have bounced off and landed on the ground, I think. And secondly, it reminded me of what Jimmy Johnson used to say when he coached the Cowboys. There was a guy who fell asleep in a meeting, and Johnson cut him. And he was asked, well, what if Troy Aikman fell asleep in the meeting? Johnson said, I'd get him a pillow. There are different
exactly.
rules for different players on every team. And the players get it. They know who gets special consideration. It still doesn't send a strong message to the locker room at large, but it was very wise of Andy Reid to not overreact, to not even react, to just ignore it, process it, and move on, because he didn't want to let it get in the way of the bigger prize, which was having Travis Kelce properly motivated and available to help you win a Super Bowl. And that's one of the reasons why the Chiefs pulled it off. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.